Step 1, pull out the O-range. You can grab here on both sides and pull out. Or some people hold the door, open it, and pull it by the door. Don't pull it all the way, just pull it slightly. Then you can check to make sure you have enough room on the cords behind. Pull it slightly out. Now we'll check to make sure how much room we have. Looking behind, we see that we still have enough slack. Still have enough slack on the gas line and on the electrical line to pull out. So we'll pull it out some more. Disconnect power. Shut off gas to the appliance. Now you've isolated it. Follow the recommended cut points. Ensure your hose size and your hose length meets the BTU requirement for your range. The longer the hose length, the lower your flow because of increased pressure drop. Before taking everything apart, do a dry fit to make sure that's the right connection if your manual did not specifically call out the hose connection size. This is the right fit. The new mounting bracket is much larger than the old one, so we'll take out the old one and install the new. If you can see this, that's the measurement of the center line. Then per the manual, 12.5 inches offset. That's where the notch right here of the new bracket is going to sit. And you can put that on either side per the manual because the legs are going to slide in here and lock into place, so it can be on either side. So we're going to go in, we're going to go ahead. So we're going to go ahead, take off the old one and install the new. The mounting screws come with it, and we'll mount it just like this against the wall. Add to drill pilot holes, 1/8 inch drill bit before driving the screws in. Again, you measure the center line of the opening. Then 12.5 inches from that center line. You match that notch on the floor bracket and install it. Now the next step is to ensure that your range is at the right height. So what you're going to do is measure the distance from the floor to the top of your cabinet. And you can do that on the front and the back, right? Then you're going to lay your range on, well, you're going to measure your range also from the top to the bottom. If it's not the same, you can lay it on the back, on its back, and adjust the, you can lay it on its back and adjust the leveling legs. Just make sure you take as accurate a measurement as possible, realizing that your floors may be sloping. So the front may be higher than the back, or the back may be higher than the front. Just match those measurements. And we'll do that next. If you're going to lay your range, lay it on its back and make sure that you use the cardboard provided when it was shipped to prevent scarring or scratching your new range. I doubled up the cardboards that were supporting the range on the sides when it was in the box, so there are 2 on each side, and I'm going to lay the range on its back right on that to make sure that we're not scratching it against the floor. And we're going to level the legs, or at least we're going to attempt to level the legs based on the measurements we took. We'll slide it in place, put a level at the base to make. I've made some adjustments to the leveling legs. You can rotate this. There are 2 in the front. There are 2 in the front. That's one. That's the other. I've made some adjustments to those. And also the leveling legs at the back. Now, be sure to level the range using the front and back leveling legs. Done that on this. And I leveled these to match the measurements that I took. I'm gonna sit the range up, slide it into place right after I install the gas hose to make sure that it fits perfectly and it's level, so we can conclude this installation. Your gas hose comes with an adapter piece. There's a smaller end and the larger side. Note that your tape is only going to go, or your joint compound, your pipe joint compound is only going to go on the smaller side, not the larger side. The larger side is what connects to your hose, and that does not need to have any joint compound on it. The smaller side gets the tape, and that ties into your gas supply or isolation valve. And on the other end of your hose on the range, the smaller side ties into your pressure regulator, and that also gets the tape, and again, not the end with the hose. Refer to your owner's manual for proper installation instructions. I'm going to go ahead and apply the tape. This is the fitting with the tape applied. Notice that you can still see the threads, so apply a little bit of pressure when you're putting the tape on it and go around it a few times. With the fitting installed, note that not all the section with the threads will go into the valve. Installation of the fitting onto the regulator on the range is also complete. Now I'll slide it in and level it out. So looking at this, you can see on the left side it's very close to where we need it to be. However, on the right side I need to raise that, not only at the back but also not only at the front but also at the back. So I'm going to go pull that out and adjust it. This also gave me an opportunity to test the floor bracket to ensure that there's proper fit. Looking at the sides, that's a much better fit. Now I'm going to go ahead and test to ensure it's level. To do that, place a level at the base of the oven. Ensure the bubble is at the center. That looks fairly level. I'm going to remove the bottom rack to make this a little easier. There you go. Looks fairly level. If you have the longer level, they recommend you either put it straight across or at a diagonal. I'm also going to do this to check that it's level from front to back. And as you see, that is not quite level, so I'll need to make a slight adjustment on there to correct it. And on that side, probably need more of an adjustment. And if you don't correct this, your convection oven or your air fryer will not work well. So I'll go ahead and address this right now. Checking for a second time. Fairly level. I can do the final adjustment once I connect the gas hose. But that's pretty good for now. Life isn't perfect, but that's good. Both gas connections have been tightened. First, make sure you thread it carefully so you don't have any cross threading, then you tighten it. And I did the same for the gas valve, and that's tightened. And now just have to take this off for the power cord. I have to cut that off, and we can plug it in once we're ready. I'll go ahead and assemble all the other parts, then plug it in as the last item. Burner elements. Align the groove with where the spark is generated. cleaning. Plugged in. Turn on the gas valve. There is hydrogen sulfide in the domestic gas system, so if you have a leak, you're going to smell it. Another way to test it that I've seen others use is a spray bottle with soapy water. If you see bubbles, it means you have a leak. And now we test. The first time you turn this on is going to take a little while, maybe about up to 8 seconds to ignite the burner. So let's try it with this. There we go. Success. All right, we all set.